How's everybody going? Good evening, good morning. I just saw that Westland Community News has covered my story. So I really appreciate that from Westland Community News. Although I am, well, I'm disappointed with some of the comments, but I'm not surprised. There's a lot of bootlickers out there, and unfortunately, there's a lot of uneducated bootlickers as well, and they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I see some comments about open fields, community caretaking. Community caretaking's never applied to the residents, to residential property. That usually pertains to like cars that are parked in public. Um, Same thing with like the plain view doctrine, whatnot. The simple fact of the matter is, guys, is I have the biggest residential lot in the entire city of Wayne, and my house is also the backyard portion of my house is in a lower elevated area. It's in a wetland, right? There's a giant ravine, so you can't see anything. You can't discern anything. You can't even see the fire pit from the road. Okay, and mind you, we're talking there's a fucking foot of snow on the ground, so there's absolutely zero risk that a fire is going to spread in a foot of snow, let alone in a wetland, right? This isn't rocket science, guys. But yeah, just the sheer amount of comments, right, where people were just like, oh, just comply, just you know if you don't got nothing to hide, and just let them do what they want to do, and then you'll be on your way. And I'm like, yeah, that's just like the literal definition of bootlicking. So I served in the United States Army. I actually put my money where my mouth is, and I served this country honorably. And one of those requirements of service was to honor and respect and to cherish the United States Constitution, right? And the Supremacy Clause states that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And so, no, I'm not, I don't know if you guys have ever met anyone who's just not willing to give up their rights because a police officer or a firefighter or any public official demands it. I don't know if you guys have ever met anyone like that. But my name's Vince. It's nice to meet you. I don't comply with unlawful orders. I don't comply with unconstitutional actions. And to add a little context to this situation, this was the sixth city sanctioned break-in of my property. So this isn't obviously the first time that this has happened, right? And we have multiple lawsuits in U.S. District Court. We have multiple litigation ongoing as we speak. And so the simple fact of the matter is that the Fourth Amendment is the supreme law of the land. And the only way to skirt around the Fourth Amendment is, well, first of all, you got to have probable cause that a crime is being committed, right? The city of Wayne has never plausibly alleged that I've ever committed any crime whatsoever. Having a bonfire is not a crime. Having a cooking fire is not a crime, especially on a 3-acre property, right? Where the back portion's a wetland and, 300 feet wide by 500 feet deep. I mean, if you can't have a small bonfire on that property, well, then you just need to outlaw fires entirely in the city of Wayne, then, right? So, I find it very concerning that people that are, seemingly 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, are just so eager to just woefully give up their constitutionally protected rights. I'm not. Right. So, I'm a reasonable guy. If you, knock on my door and you have a conversation with me, and if I'm feeling nice that day, I might let you have access to my wonderful 3-acre property. However, that's not a requirement. And unless crime is, unless somebody can reasonably articulate that a crime is being committed, I'm not under any obligation to allow someone onto my property, let alone to search and seize my property. And so no matter how brief the inspection or the search or the seizure may be, it's still a deprivation of my property rights and my civil liberties. And I'm not for that. I'm not the type of guy. It seems like a lot of these people in Wayne County, in the city of Wayne, they'll just suck dick whenever they're told, right? If the Wayne PD or the Wayne Fire Department says, "Hey, come suck this dick," you guys are going to start sucking the dick and licking the boot. But there are people, believe it or not, there are people out there that aren't cucks, right? That don't cuck their rights away, and they don't apologize about exercising their rights, right? I fought for the right, so I might as well exercise them, right? I fought for them so you guys could exercise those rights too, but apparently, you guys would rather just give them up. Some of you, not all of you, obviously. There were some very good comments as well, but yeah, it is really astounding that people think that you can bypass the Fourth Amendment for any reason other than probable cause plus consent, right? So if you get consent from the homeowner, well, then that's fair game, right? Or you got to have a warrant. And if you don't have a warrant, then you got to have exigent circumstances, which means a life or death situation, right? It means that there's a clear and obvious life or death danger, right? Imminent, immediate, time is of the essence, go, go, go. Someone's property is going to be, destroyed. Somebody's life is going to be taken. There's a true emergency, right? That's an exigency. The city of Wayne has never, ever met those requirements. They've never once had an exigent circumstance. They've never had consent, and they've never had a warrant. So all of these break-ins are completely and totally unconstitutional, bar none. Completely and totally unconstitutional, completely violate the Fourth Amendment. And before January 9th, so they broke in on March 28th of 2024. We have a lawsuit currently right now. And then they broke in May 9th, 2025, and May 19th of 2025, and July 5th of 2025. So we have that. And so, that was all before the city of Wayne ever had any codified ordinance whatsoever. They had a phantom ordinance. They had a policy that they were masquerading as their ordinance, but it was never actually codified or ratified or enacted by the city council. It was never in the charter until they passed Ordinance 2025-02 on December 26th of 2025, which that ordinance is void for vagueness because the ordinance gives themselves permission to violate the Fourth Amendment, and that's not how it works, right? So the Sixth Circuit, which is the circuit that would pertain to southeastern Michigan, the Sixth Circuit has never upheld ever, right? There's not a single case law where the Sixth Circuit has ever upheld a warrantless search and seizure of somebody's private property, particularly their house or their curtilage, to enforce at most would be considered a minor offense, right? It's insane to suggest anything other than the fact that these are unconstitutional, clearly unconstitutional. And I'm just amazed at the illiteracy rate of the people in Wayne County, because if you actually watch the video, at about 6:56 or about the 7th minute of that video, one of the captain actually of the fire department makes a comment that he just wants to go back there to piss me off, right? He actually confesses on camera, which is wild, I'm very thankful he said that. I mean, thank you for that. Never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. But yeah, he literally said that's the only reason why I want to go back there is to piss them off, right? Me and my wife who own this property. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty fucking wild shit, guys. And it's like half and half, man. Half of the people get it. Half the people are just complete hopeless bootlickers, cocks. I don't know what else to call them. It's really astounding, right? I mean, take away the politics, take away the, oh, you don't like me, I don't like you, bullshit, right? Just look at the facts, right? And I'm just amazed that people are so willing to give up their rights, and lick the boot. It's really astonishing. So I suggest you stop doing that. Leather can't be good for your health. And yeah, I mean, it's just, what more do I need to say here? I mean, it's really remarkable that, the captain of the fire department can literally confess on camera that he's only doing this. He knows it's fine. He admits that it's fine, that they can tell that there's no issue. They just want to go in there just to piss me off, right? That's all. That's the only reason. That's the exact words. So I'm just amazed that people apparently saw that and still thought that what they did was not done in malice, and it's just amazing, incredible, the cognitive dissonance, right? The detachment from reality that some people, the bootlickers, have. So, but I do want to make one comment to a specific person, Mark Blackwell. Look up the Blackwell versus Lisa Nocerini 2022 case. Well, Mr. Blackwell says the city of Wayne has ordinances. Well, they actually don't. That's the baffling thing about it, is up until December 26, 2025, the city of Wayne never had a codified open burn ordinance, right? So, and just because they do doesn't mean it's enforceable, because it's void for vagueness, because you can't give yourself permission to violate the Fourth Amendment, right? And there's some other obvious glaring issues with Ordinance 2025-02 that was passed on December 26, 2025. But yeah, even if you have an ordinance, you still got to follow the Constitution. So the Constitution's not optional. Sorry, guys. Sorry, bootlickers. But it's not optional. It's the supreme law of the land. It's called the Supremacy Clause. So we're going to be filing a lawsuit for the May 9th through January 9th break-ins. So that would be 4 break-ins. We might split that into a couple lawsuits because it might get to be too much, because there's a lot there with the criminal case, especially that the city of Wayne maliciously prosecuted me under because they said I was interfering, right? Which isn't possible because they didn't have a codified ordinance to enforce. So you can't interfere with the enforcement of something that doesn't exist. But good luck trying to explain this to Wayne County, city of Wayne retards. But I'm praying for you guys. I know one day you'll understand the method to the madness. There's really not a method or any madness here. It's just a disabled veteran and an Army veteran, or an Army active duty Army soldier, my wife. We're just tired of the bullshit. We're just tired of the unconstitutional antics and behavior, and big government, and we got to check on you and make sure you're following the rules. And no, you can suck my dick. You can get the fuck off my property. You can get a search warrant. And if you don't want to do that, well then, I guess bye-bye qualified immunity, right? So I will hold bad government actors accountable, and I'll do it without ever taking a salary. So, I'm running for office indefinitely until I'm dead in the city of Wayne, and I'll never take a salary. I'll never take a single penny from the taxpayers of Wayne, because it's not about money. It's about accountability, and it's about transparency, and it's about bringing some respect back to our Constitution and to people's civil and constitutional liberties, right? So, say what you want to say about me, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm putting my ass on the line here. And I'm willing to fight the good fight, and I'm willing to stand for something where obviously, the bootlickers aren't willing to stand for anything other than compliance, right? So keep double masking, keep taking your clot shots, take your 3 or 4 or 5 boosters, and, listen to Pfizer and listen to Fauci and listen to Biden and Kamala and Hillary and, all the Dems and Pelosi. Just listen to them all, because they clearly have your best interests in mind. And, don't think for yourself, and, don't cherish your constitutional rights, because that's crazy. That's sovereign citizen talk, right? And yeah, that's how far we've fallen in this country, right? So thank you to the guys that aren't bootlickers, of course, and for spreading the gospel and preaching the truth. But unfortunately, we seem to be outnumbered sometimes. So anyways, I got to get going, guys. I'm going to go try to take a few hours, get some sleep here. And but yeah, thank you again to Westland Community News for covering the story. It's very important that people, are made aware of, what the government's doing, and, how they're utilizing tax dollars, right? So any jackass moron who insinuates that the fire department was there just to protect the community, I want to know what kind of crack cocaine you're fucking smoking on, because there's a foot of snow on the ground and we're in a wetland. So I don't know, kind of weird, right? But you can't explain it to bootlickers, right? They got it all figured out. But I would like to make one last comment to Marie Vigilante, whatever her name is, the lady that I bought this house from that I'm standing in. Fuck you. What's funny about you, lady, is you don't pay your creditors, right? So I keep getting these pieces of mail from mid-Michigan, because that's where you're from, Midland area, or that's where you got your credit, some of your credit to build this house. So you build houses and then you stiff your creditors. And yeah, it's really ironic that someone who doesn't pay their bills, someone who is a fraudster, which that's what you are, Marie. That's why you don't live in this house anymore, because you are a fraudster and you have a spending problem, and you don't hold up your end of the bargain, right? You don't pay your creditors and you stiff your creditors and fuck them over, and that's thievery, really. And you're a bum, right? And then I'm living in your house because you're a bum and couldn't afford it, or I don't know what. So now you're living in some bum ass town up north. But you didn't have to sell the house. You could have kept it. But you're a bum and you really couldn't afford it. And now you're living in the poorhouse somewhere up north, and you're broke because, obviously you're broke. You're not paying your, mid-Michigan, all these different bills. I keep getting all these collection notices I get that have your name on them. So, you're a bum, Marie. Straight up, you're a piece of shit. So you left this house a mess. It was a disaster when I bought it. It didn't have a deck. It had poison ivy patches everywhere, and it looked like shit. And I cleaned it up and cleared it all out and put a pond in and put a deck in and repainted it from that awful fucking color you had, and that teal shit. And yeah, the house property values went up over $200,000 since I moved in. So I would say that's pretty good. That's pretty good maintenance there. But you know, keep licking that boot, Marie. Like I said, one day, all you bootlickers out there, one day, you will be on the other end of. You won't be licking the boot. You'll be tasting it unwillingly. Your rights will be violated, and then you'll have a semblance of understanding of what I'm going through, me and my family, what we've been going through repeatedly, the trauma that we've had to endure from the city of Wayne, when all we want to do is just be left alone and be able to utilize our property as we see fit, as a veteran, disabled veteran, and as a service member, right? My wife. So, we just want to be able to, live our lives, not be molested by the government. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's unreasonable, but, I'll pray for you, bootlickers, and thanks again, Westland Community News. Take care, everybody.